Burleson County, Texas, will convene in a regular meeting at the City Hall, 107 South Hill Street, Caldwell, Texas. Regular meeting place thereof at 5:30 p.m., August 15th, 2023. Please stand for the invocation and pledges. Invocation this evening is given by Rhonda Tomasi.
And I asked Madam Mayor if we could just all come into agreement for the heat dome to be moved away off this area and rain to come. So that's what I'm asking. I'll pray, but let's agree.
We agree.
So Father, we come before you and we acknowledge that you are our God. And Lord, we're asking that you will release your angels to shift the heat dome that has been in place over our area and move it. And Father, we're also asking for rain to be sent. The livestock, the people, the plants, everything is dry and thirsty. So we bring the petition to you boldly, and we ask for you to intervene on our behalf. In the name of Yeshua, Jesus, amen.
Amen. Pledge to the American flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Welcome to any visitors today. Glad to have you here. We're going to begin with citizens to be heard on city-related topics, and that is Mr. Andy Sandoval.
Real quick, I'm gonna let people know that been here law enforcement for 18 years, been in the fire department for 45 years, retired, so to speak. So I know a little bit about what's going on here in Caldwell. I'm kind of upset with the streets, especially on the other side of the railroad tracks, from 21 all the way down to 13th Street. Some of those streets, in my mind, haven't been repaired, along with Cleft Street. It's terrible. The middle of the road is caving in on, Temple Street. It hasn't been repaired in years, to the best of my knowledge. Just like it was paved the other month, I guess, from the railroad tracks to the ballpark, Nagel Park. Why? I don't know. To me, Temple Street, Broadway Street, O'Neill Street should have been done first years ago. Why this was done, I have no idea. 5 houses faces 4 blocks. 4 or 5 blocks were paved. Looks good, but I don't understand why. It's just like Pine Drive. From my residence all the way to the stop sign. There's one of them that has the curb look like a C. The curb is caving in. The road is sinking. The drainage by my house was covered up when it was paved. You know, it's just stuff like that seemed like the streets should have been done better. You know, one side of the railroad tracks got curved, the other side of the streets don't have curves. Why? Is that the poor section of town, or people don't care? I'm just frustrated with the streets, especially, Broadway, Temple, O'Neill streets. You ride those streets. Middle of the road on some of them is caving in. It's something from the sewer line or water line that was repaired. If you buy my house on Pine Drive, you turn too short, you're gonna cut your tire at the stop sign. It's about 3-4 inches deep. Why? City of Caldwell don't care or what? You go to by Walmart. I don't know, Echo Streets. You hit that side street, you can't even see the stop sign. People don't care, I guess. That's just my feelings. You know, I've heard two, and I shouldn't say it, city councilman said, I'll talk to you, I'll talk to you. I've been waiting 2-3 years on one of them. Haven't heard anything. Thank you.
I can tell you the city does care. We do care. And road projects are extremely expensive. And I think we've got some stuff, grant works, projects, I know for Kleb Street coming. So it's a start. So, okay, consent agenda items. Consider approval of minutes for the July 18th meeting and consider ordinance number 8/15/23A, granting homestead exemptions up to $10,000 of assessed value to persons 65 years of age or older and to persons who qualify under the federal old age survivors and disability insurance program administered by Social Security Administration. Any discussion on consent agenda items? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor of approving consent agenda items, raise your right hand. All approved, motion passes. Next, public hearing, city budget for fiscal year October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024.
So this will serve as our public hearing for, as you just said, the city budget for our upcoming fiscal year and the proposed 2023 property tax rate. Just as an overview, we're looking at an operations budget of about $15.8 million at the end of the day. We are keeping the tax rate where it was at 0.37957 for $100 assessed. So I'm happy to answer any questions on that. The proposed tax rate, keeping it where it is, it will generate more revenue because the valuations have increased in the city of Caldwell. So just like at everybody's home, everything has gone up significantly in cost. So that kind of allows us just to keep up with the pace of inflation. Any specific questions on either from the audience or from council? I'm happy to answer any of them. The first few pages of the budget document will kind of give you the overview. General fund, you're looking at expenditures and revenues right under $5 million. The revenue-based funds, revenue and expenditures are right about 10.5 million. So both of those are balanced. We've got a little bit of a cushion, a couple $1,000s in each one of those. We will expend about $1 million extra than what we bring in this year from fund balance. And that's just to tackle the other capital improvement projects that we've either got on the books or that are kind of delayed or just our match in certain grant projects. But at the end of the day, you're really looking at a balanced operational budget without any rate hikes to water, wastewater, electric, or sanitation.
And a lot of this is per our conversations at the
Absolutely. Good point. So everything in here, we made just very slight adjustments to try to work things out. We will be looking at a new health insurance package for the city that will save an additional, I want to say 80,000 per year that we'll be able to use for some other things, taking care of our employees and as far as salary goes. So all in all, I was pleased with how things came together. But say thank you to all the staff that helped work on this and put it together.
Any discussion, guys? Motion to approve budget?
We're still in the public hearing section.
Anybody comments?
I have a question. Is there Has there been, long before I was here, ever an inclination for the city to pay for any of our fire department personnel?
That is, there has, and it turned out to be a lot more complicated than what I thought. So I thought, hey, we'll get a fire chief, or we'll get 3 or 4 paid fire department employees, but there's a lot more to it. And I haven't had the time to undertake putting that full department together. But it is something that I've been
Seems like a
thinking about for the
worthy
last
idea.
2 years.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna have to start looking at that a lot closer as we continue to grow.
Does it have to do with population?
It's not that, I think it has to do with having crews available. All of our volunteers, they have jobs. So at some point, you got 2 or 3 at most responding. Sometimes it's 1. So if we had somebody, you know, the way that we originally thought about it was, okay, if I can get 1 person to work during the day, when most people are at work, they can at least get the truck to the scene and we can start there. And then just slowly grow that each year. Like I said, there's a lot more, I call it regulatory, but there's a lot more red tape that's behind it.
It seems like with the age of some of our firefighters and the longevity, it's going to be a problem eventually.
I think it's a problem in all volunteers. Because even,
Well, if they work, I mean, they can't go train.
but I'm talking about in the county.
Oh, yeah. I'm just curious, thanks.
It's on the list.
Any other comments about budget? Anybody?
Move on.
Okay. Next 2 regular agenda items. Approval of fiscal year 2024 budget policy. Do you have a motion to approve?
So I'm
No.
gonna let Forrest do
Okay.
it.
Did you do the property tax?
I kind of did it together.
So the budget policy is a policy that's going to guide us on how to manage the fiscal budget annually. So each year when we adopt the budget moving forward, we'll also adopt the budget policy. And it outlines everything from how we're going to spend money and then how we're going to use reserve funds and where those reserve funds are going to go. So it's something that it'll help us in the future as far as like keeping track of where we've had extra fund balance left over and keep track of where that's going. And then it'll also help us do a better job of keeping everything transparent for the citizens. It's something that we should have had for a long time, but never had. So now we have one and we'll keep going with it. Any question? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've operated off of this guidance prior. It's just never been a solid document that, you know, we even more, we've expanded on it. But I think this would be a really good document to answer questions, just to kind of show the procedure that we're utilizing as we create and stick to our budget.
So this is a motion to approve. Now presented. Do we have a motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 budget policy?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of approving the fiscal year 2024 budget policy, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Next, approval of the city budget for fiscal year October 1, 2023 to September 30th, 2024.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor of approving the city budget for fiscal year October 1, 2023 to September 30th, 2024, raise your right hand. All in favor, motion passes. Approval on an ordinance number 081523B, setting the 2023 property tax rate.
So before y'all do that, call your attention to something in your packet. It's right behind the notice of public hearing on tax increase, but it has the truth in taxation worksheets behind it. So this is something that we're required to publish along with our budget. It just lets the public know kind of where we were, that no new revenue, the voter approval rate, and so on, and then the rate that we chose along with the de minimis rate. So we will publish that with our budget, just to be as transparent as possible.
Move for adoption of this 2023 property tax rate.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Approve, all those in favor of approving ordinance number 081523B, setting the 2023 property tax rate, raise your right hand. All in favor, motion passes. Next, approval of the City of Caldwell investment policy.
So this is another policy update. The last investment policy that the city had was from 2004. So instead of just amending it, we created a whole new one. And that's what's in front of you. So basically it guides us on how we're going to invest public funds. Renee, myself, and Camden have attended the required Public Funds Investment Act training. So all three of us are certified in this. And then we'll also, as we move forward and implement this policy, we'll put together a investment committee. And so that'll consist of the three of us from staff and then someone from council or two people from council to help decide how we're going to invest public funds. Currently, the only investments that we have are through CDs. And you'll see in your staff report from Administrative Services, you'll see the investment report for the past quarter, which would be quarter 3. And so each quarter, you'll get one of those reports on the balance that we have in those CDs. And so as it accrues, then we'll add that. And as we go through and implement new investments using the investment policy, then we'll add those onto that quarter report. That's required by the state for us to publish that each quarter. Yes, sir.
Is this going to be looked at completely all the way through, like with the in their CDs now versus other avenues that might
Yes.
increase our return?
Yeah, so the I guess the biggest one that municipalities use is the pools. So tax pools, tax share. Those are public funds that are pooled together through a whole lot of municipalities. And so that's a big one that a lot of municipalities, I guess, invest with. And then there's other options as well, but that's probably the most liquid and stable investment besides CDs.
And that's kind of what drove this, is we wanted to be able to get more return on the funds that we had. We talked about utilizing tax pools or other pools before, because the return is pretty good right now. We at least are earning more money on our money at the bank, but it'd be nice to be able to do this. And this lays out the groundwork as to what we can invest in, what it's backed with, things like that. So this, again,
Yeah, that was a question I had when I was out in the audience. Are we getting the best bang for our buck? And
this will,
this is what I want to make
This is-
sure,
this is a step
But
we
we have a-
needed to take before we get deeper into that.
because we have a pretty good size amount of money sitting there that I think is, if we increase it 2 or 3%.
For sure. And a lot of what staff has been working on is cleaning up and trying to uncover, what we didn't know. And so now that we've gotten to a point where we're pretty more aware of how things are operating, we can actually do the actual piece of investment. There's a lot to it. I mean, as far as, time and, getting all of the facts and figures together to make sure that we're making the best decision possible.
The total investment into a particular avenue or particular fund or whatever you want to call it, like for the government pools, we can't exceed 80%. Are those standard, or is that?
That's standard, and what we'll do is, as we meet with our financial advisor, as we move forward with having our investment committee set up, we can make amendments to this.
Okay.
This is just to get us started, because we wanted to at least have some kind of framework to go by, and then, we can make amendments and bring those back to you as we move.
I think we're gonna have to fine tune how much effort we put into this versus like, day-to-day investing versus like how much time I'm gonna spend in tracking and doing things like that versus return. So I think it's gonna be fluid.
$2,004, huh?
Any other conversation about the investment policy? Do we have a motion to accept the City of Caldwell investment policy?
So
Do we have a second?
No,
All in favor of approving the City of Caldwell investment policy, raise your right hand. All in favor, yay. Motion passes. Next, approval of the City of Caldwell communication policy and procedures.
So this is another policy. We've had a standard that we kind of lived by, but we haven't had anything formally written. So Madeline has worked hard to put this communication policy and procedure together. Basically outlines how the City of Caldwell uses the website and social media, and where we're going to direct community engagement, interactions, and feedback, and then establishes guidelines for social media, and making sure that we're not commenting necessarily on social media posts, but we're sending out the correct message. And so that's basically what it consists of, and it doesn't restrict elected officials. That'll be something that we'll put in the council policy that we discussed during the workshop. So that's a different piece, but legal suggested that goes into that council policy versus being a part of this communications policy. So any questions?
No, I think it's a great deal that we have that policy, and that way we can get the city's message out, and knowing that we can't respond, but we can put it out there. Try to be as transparent as we can.
Any more conversation about the communication policy? Okay, all in favor of approving the City of Caldwell communication policy and procedures, raise your right hand. I'm sorry, motion. We need a motion. I'm sorry, motion. Sorry, I was really jumping. Do we have a motion to approve the City of Caldwell communication policy and procedures? Do we have a second? All in favor of approving the City of Caldwell communication policy and procedures, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Next, department and community reports. I noticed in the administrative services report, utility and water, they went up from June to July.
Electricity went up 25%, and water nearly 52%. And that was before the latest round. So in consumption, that's
what would on the communications, the Facebook page hit 58,000 page reaches? What is? I mean, that jumped up from 2,000 last month to 58 this month. What is-
So I'm sure it was related to the library programs and
Okay.
the amount of feedback that was getting. But then also the Barbie World post and the Shark Week post. Those reached quite a few people. We handed out the news on KBTX one evening with City of College Station and Caldwell for Barbie
Okay,
World. So
gotcha.
that's probably the biggest one.
Does that include the Main Street, like this concert stuff as well,
Yeah.
the push for the concert stuff?
Which, I mean, that's a good thing. We want to put
Yeah.
Caldwell out there. So
Okay, any discussion?
Are we doing all of them?
Yes.
Okay. But I have a question on the financial statement. What was the reimbursement for insurance for 52,000? Was that because we changed? And we got
Street sweeper,
a,
that's for the street sweeping.
okay, thank you. Okay.
The new one is on order.
How long before it gets here? Almost like the garbage truck front loader.
That's pushed back to Tuesday.
Yeah.
On like the code enforcement, where are we on Project Veritas?
They, good question. The contract with them is sitting with our attorneys for their review. Then we will bring it to council. We talked about, I need to see where that's at. We talked about having a workshop next week.
29.
29th, that's what I meant. On the 29th. Keep jumping ahead of myself. So where we would have them come in and talk about the process of how they would do our building plans, permits and inspections, as well as the code enforcement aspect of substandard structures. So they wanted to come and present, we weren't able to be here at this meeting, so at the workshop, we'll have more discussion on that. And if we have if I have something back from our attorneys approving that contract, then we can have a call meeting that night for council to approve that. So
Well, as I said last meeting, and I think the rest of us feel since it's a good thing that we're headed that way, because there's too many buildings that I wouldn't even try to go inside.
we still will have to, there'll be a lot behind it. In our discussion, talked about having to bring back a board of adjustments. That would be the body that would decide, on a particular structure. So we would have to, there's so much more I still need to investigate to see how we bring that back.
Well,
And that's what we talked about in that workshop.
okay.
Go ahead.
No, an example is how Somerville has gone about. I think their wall of shame is over 50-something homes that have been taken down and removed. And when you go into Somerville now, you can sure tell the difference. So I'm hoping that once we get in a row, and we're not trying to take anybody's house down, but these hadn't been lived in years.
Hope to bring that back 29. So.
All right. Any more discussion about department and community reports? All right, last on the agenda, administrative and elected official reports. Mr. Williams will start.
I don't think I have anything besides the 29th. We'll have a pretty full workshop, so lots of other discussions besides the very top. So
Did you want to talk about the garden club doing the civic
oh
center
yeah.
to their morning?
Yes, so the garden club, Ms. Rhonda has been working very hard on getting the civic center looking much better and cleaning it up. So she's working on getting some fruit trees so that we can have some fruit trees in the front, which will look nice in the springtime when they bloom. And then working on getting some different vegetables and fruits around the civic center. So it'll kind of a community garden, but also clean it up and make it look nice. And so the garden club is spearheading that, and then the Girl Scouts, they are gonna clean up some of the rock beds, so that way we can get that cleaned up and looking better. So then we'll have some more area for some plants to be planted. Yeah, so that's going good, and the subdivision ordinance, I'm gonna send y'all a survey sometime this week, and if y'all can complete that before the workshop, that'll help kind of speed up that conversation. So that way we're not having to figure out, this or that or this or that. So that way y'all each have your chance to kind of do some homework and bring back anything that y'all want to talk about with that. So I think
So as we looked at consumption and revenues on, our utilities, the heat is kind of getting to a lot of our utilities. It's affecting our electric grid. It's not really the issue that we have on our local grid, but some of the transmission issues that we're having are creating low voltage in some of the areas. So we've done what we can to shade load as far as the city goes. Grateful to the school district. Brady Beavers has kind of helped us out and bringing some of the
74 is just too hot.
some of the thermostats up at the school district just to help us out.
74.
What they did is Entergy, without telling us, they opened up one of the transmission breakers, basically putting us on a single feed from Brian. Created some low voltages for us, but we're working through that. On the water side, we're keeping up with demand. We've had to do a little bit of manual operations from day to day, just when we have higher demand to make sure that we're keeping up. Our water well rehab project, we're still kind of stuck on well 3. What we're trying to do is match up a controller that will help us ramp that motor through that ramp zone, and it won't pull so many amps, so then we can make sure it still has operating. So we'll be looking at going through we'll get a VFD, which is variable frequency drive, that will help slowly ramp it through that zone. So we're, instead of pulling 900 amps, we'll be below what we can actually carry on that generator. But we just want to make sure that everything is looked at, and everything works out. Davis Creek, just want to thank everybody for their support on those projects. I think the fountains over there look great. Pickleball courts look outstanding. From what I understand, we'll have nets and those will be ready to go tomorrow morning.
All right.
So after that, they're open, right?
They'll be open.
They're ready to
We'll
play.
get some benches for it then.
It's not gonna be 74.
And then, as I mentioned to y'all before, we're doing a little bit of cleanup at New City Hall. I think it looks good. We're trying to kind of make it less of an eyesore and kind of get ready for Kolash Festival and just do what we can right now. So that project's going really well. I'm very pleased with progress there. That's it. I'm sure I forgot something, so I'll have to go.
We'll ask you before.
Whatever.
Is there any update on cat flea?
As far as I spoke with a member of that group, and they're looking at March right now. as a completion date. Other stuff is still being worked on.
Of next year,
Yes.
well, they had a completion date of March this year.
Understand.
So I was just, I mean, there hasn't been any work there for 3 weeks. They still have 4 sections to finish the roof, and I'm surprised if they were gonna shut down until decisions are made. I'm surprised they didn't at least get their roof completed.
In my meeting with them, that they're still working behind the scenes. I would expect it to ramp that back up shortly.
Okay. And is TxDOT going to repair the hole in the road on Bank Street?
Thomas's group took care of that a couple of days ago.
Okay. Well, it said TxDOT on the cones, and we mentioned that before.
Yeah, it's a TxDOT road, but it's our project, and we had a water leak that surfaced there, and they fixed it a couple days ago.
Thank you, Thomas.
You're welcome.
That's all I had.
I'm good.
Main Street finished their summer concert series. Special thank you to the city crews who helped with that. They were outstanding, all the teams for each 3 weekends. It's a community event, very well attended this year, lots of positive comments and feedback, and couldn't happen without the City of Caldwell, which we are very grateful for. Kolach Festival, has there been a meeting yet to finalize?
I hadn't heard anything. I went ahead, usually Chamber does it, went ahead and ordered the porta cans today. And we'll do what we normally do. It should roll then.
Okay, that is, what, 3 weeks from
I
Saturday.
hadn't heard of a meeting, y'all.
Okay, no meeting yet?
I just take the initiative and get it done.
Okay, very good. And then I got to attend the closing festivities for the summer reading program. And just a big shout out to Heidi and Madeline. They did a fantastic job with that summer reading program with the little kids. Put on a great slideshow. It was decorated really cute. Had some contests and prizes, and it was awesome. They do a fantastic job. So I think that's it for me.
I'm good.
You're good, Mr. Enrique?
The date for the workshop. Yeah, look at what day is that, Tuesday?
Yes.
2 weeks from today.
Last Tuesday.
Do we want to look at? Or can you do another day of the
Well,
week?
What's the Tuesday after the holiday? That's the, what is that? The fifth?
The 5th.
I think it's the, no. I can look at my calendar for the.
What, what time is it?
5:30.
Oh, it's up on there.
Yeah, we're gonna do the evening.
Sure, it's not another one of those day things.
No.
Just,
Yeah, we're good.
That's a once a year.
I'm good with one.
That was the day of the budget.
so we're good on that one. Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Did you remember anything?
One more question. Is TxDOT gonna fix the accident wall of, that's the civic?
At Civic Center, no, I mean, that's our wall we have. You want to share it? You've been handling that.
Yeah, I've been trying to get quotes on it. So the one quote that we got from Aguilar Masonry, which is the original company that did it, it was gonna be 40 grand just to redo that Caldwell spelled out. So an alternative option that we're looking at is just to get the Texas, like it's a metal Texas, and so we could get that cut out with the new logo and just get that done, because that would be substantially cheaper. Because the insurance coverage was only, the check that we got from reimbursement was only like $18,000. So I mean, it wouldn't cover. So, yes,
It's expensive, ain't it?
we're working through different alternatives, and
Well, take your time, find the cheapest thing, take your time.
I don't want to find the cheapest thing, but the hard thing about getting the Texas cut out is the size of it. A lot of the companies I've talked to, they don't have a laser cutter or laser cutter could cut the metal that's big enough for that. So that's kind of where the issue has been. But I'm pretty sure it comes off in 2 pieces, so I'm trying to see if I can, get them to do it where it's cut into 2 separate pieces. We're working on
Heavy duty steel, heavy gauge, so if somebody hits it, it messes their car up. I mean, who would have ever thought that
Yeah.
wall would have been hit twice?
Mhm.
Give me a break.
I have one more thing. Conversation, if you're interested afterwards. I have this thing about a hurricane coming, or hurricane rains at least. I'm assuming we're ready in the event we have, because they do give you days in advance to prepare. Yes? Okay. Okay, that's all I got. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
We're not ready. Yes.
We have a emergency response plan for all of our utilities for the city as a whole.
Very good. That's what I wanted to hear. Oh, I know that one. I was thinking Caldwell in general. Do I have a motion to adjourn? You guys want to stay here all night? Do we have a second? All in favor of adjourning? Here we go.